Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. As you all know that we are in unit number 8, that is the nutrition, and today our topic is the human digestive system. So today we will study about the digestive system, that what is the digestive system, about the parts of the digestive system and the process of digestion. So as you all know that the food which we eat, it consists of the larger and complex molecules, and those molecules may be the starch, proteins and lipids. So those molecules cannot cross the cell membrane, so the cells cannot use them for growth and energy. So therefore the food molecules must be broken down to smaller molecules that can pass through the cell membrane. So to get the energy, the food molecules broken down to smaller molecules that it can be absorbed by the blood and can be transported to all parts of the body, to all the cells of the body. So there are different phases of the digestive system. The first one is the ingestion, then digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. These are simply the phases of the digestive system. So the first one is the ingestion. Ingestion is simply the intake of food. The intake of food, that is known as the ingestion. And the second step is the digestion. The food which is intaken by the person is then broken down. The larger molecules, complex and non-diffusible food molecules are then broken down into simpler, smaller and diffusible molecules by the action of enzymes. So the larger molecules are then broken down into smaller molecules. Now what is the absorption? So absorption is simply the uptake of diffusible food from the digestive tract into the blood, that is known as the absorption. The food which is broken down, that is now absorbed by the blood. The third one is the assimilation. So assimilation is simply the food molecules get oxidized to get the energy. It changes to make new materials for growth, because we know that the cell utilize the food molecules according to their specialties and needs. The food, the energy which the cell requires, it will absorb that amount of energy according to their requirement. So the food molecules can be oxidized to get the energy or change to make new materials for growth, and that process is simply known as the assimilation. So now the egestion. Egestion is simply the elimination or removal of undigested food from the body. The undigested food which is not being digested by the digestive tract, so that is now eliminated from the body. Now as we all know that the human digestive system consists of a long tube, and that tube is known as the alimentary canal, and it has also some kind of glands with itself. Okay, so the alimentary canal is simply, it is the part of the digestive system and it consists of a long tube. So the other names for the alimentary canal are the gastrointestinal tract, digestive tract, alimentary canal tract and nourishment canal. Okay, so these are some other names for the alimentary canal. Now the human digestive system, the human digestive tract differentiate into the following parts, and those parts are the oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. So oral cavity is the first part of the alimentary canal. So now oral cavity. So it is the first part of the alimentary canal. It receives the food which is being ingested by the person. So there are some important organs of the oral cavity, and those are teeth, tongue and salivary glands. So now teeth. So basically we have 4 types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolars and molars, as you can see it clearly in this picture. So now incisors. Incisors are simply adopted for cutting or biting. Canines are adopted for tearing. Premolars and molars are adopted for grinding and mastication of food. Now another important part of the oral cavity is the tongue. It contains the taste buds. It helps to sense the taste of food. The taste buds helps to sense the taste of the food. It helps in grinding of food, and it also helps in swallowing process. So now the salivary glands. So salivary glands are simply the pair of glands present in the oral cavity, and it secretes a chemical secretion that is known as the saliva. So saliva, it is basically the secretion of salivary gland, and it helps in watering the mouth. So the reflex mechanism controlled by, it is a reflex mechanism controlled by the nervous system. It is simply the saliva is a mixture of water, mucus, salts and digestive enzyme. In the saliva is a secretion, it is a liquid material. So it is simply the mixture of water, mucus, salts and digestive enzymes. Now what is mucus? Mucus helps to lubricate the food, to oil the food, to keep it moist. Now the salt helps to kill germs and bacteria which is present in the food molecules. It makes the food alkaline, because if the food is acidic, and we know that in the stomach to which the food is going, there is also a acidic high acidic concentration. So the food will get too much acidic, and we will be feeling so much burning in our stomach. So the enzymes which is present in the salivary gland are the salivary amylase. It helps in the chemical digestion. It simply begins the chemical digestion. It breaks down starch and glycogen into maltose. After the mechanical and partial chemical digestion, food turn into another form, and that is known as the bolus. Now the bolus is passed to the another part of the alimentary canal. So the oral cavity opens into a pharynx. Now pharynx is the second part of the alimentary canal. It is present at back of oral cavity. The food is pushed back by the action of tongue. The passage for both the air and food. Pharynx is simply the passage for both air and food. After that, the trachea which will be coming, that is only for the passage of air, but pharynx is the passage for both air and food. Now what is swallowing? The downward movement of food from the buccal cavity, that process is known as the swallowing. It is the beginning of swallowing is voluntary and turns into automatic. Now vulva. During swallowing, soft palate and vulva move superiorly. It closes off the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is the passageway which opens into the nasal cavity. So it prevents the food entering into the nasal cavity, as you can see it clearly in this picture. So this part of the digestive system, it helps in preventing the food entering into the nasal cavity. Now the another part of the alimentary canal is the esophagus. So it is also known as the food pipe. It is a muscular tube. It extending from the pharynx into the stomach. It is about 10 inches long. It runs through the neck and thorax. It moves. It is present between the trachea and the vertebral column. It is present in between the trachea and the vertebral column. Okay. So now peristalsis. So peristalsis is simply the wave-like contraction and relaxation in muscular walls of aliment. It is present. It occurs in the muscular walls of the alimentary canal. The food rapidly passes through esophagus by peristalsis. As you can clearly see it in this video, that the food is moving in a wave-like contraction and relaxation, and the food is being rapidly passed through the esophagus by the process of peristalsis. So now what is antiperistalsis? So it is simply the irritation in stomach. The process of peristalsis is being reversed in the antiperistalsis. In this process, the vomiting occurs because the reverse of peristalsis occurs. So the food which is intaken by the person is again vomit by the person. So that is enough for today, dear students. So we will continue our lecture in the next topic. Okay, thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.